This is recording, right?
Yeah, this is going.
I could probably just set this up like over here. Just so we get, like a secondary view. But yeah, that's also going, so.
Cheikh is about a block away. Our special guest for today on episode 34. He is not a block away. Come back to you in a minute.
I'll put some batteries. I'll keep some batteries right here.
Good. My boy Cheikh.
What's good? How you doing?
Cheikh 34 on episode 34. Welcome to the crib.
What's good, man?
Let's close that. Oh, I locked it. All right. Here's the pots.
What? Oh shit! What's up?
Just chilling also.
Look at the setup.
Yeah, dude, we got it all going. For real.
That's your seat, yes?
Hey, Nico Robin on the chest.
Oh yeah, Nico Robin.
Nice. Actually, we'll wait until the pot starts. So,
Well, it's actually going.
it is going right
It's
now.
going right now. What?
I'll turn this on.
Dang, that was legit.
You need to prepare anything? You want some water?
Oh yeah, I'll take some water.
I'll get you some water.
We're about to start filming. Got the boy Bamba in the house. Got the audio rolling. Let's get it started.
Welcome, Pill Poppers, to episode 34.
Yes,
In case you guys don't know, Liam's in the bottom corner. He said hello.
Hello.
We got a special guest for today, Bambafa,
Yes, sir.
also known as
Been a
Cheikh.
long time coming.
Yes,
man.
sir.
I've been looking forward to
The
this.
final true member of the Pillbox universe that needed to be featured on the show.
You know, I've been keeping up with y'all. Y'all been doing y'all thing, man.
Thank you. Yeah, we've been having a ton of fun, so it's been awesome.
Put you on the spot. What's your favorite episode, if you got one?
What was it? The one with you and Dan, or you guys and Dan, when y'all were talking about the rotation monsters or some shit. I was really enjoying that shit, man.
Oh,
That was pretty good.
Whenever Dan can get on the pod, it's like, dude, it's good times always.
Yeah, he brings a different type of energy to
Yeah,
it.
he does. The problem we had for a while was we didn't have mics, so we were just relying on camera microphones to pick him up. And he talks so quiet, kind of like you. Nothing could pick him up.
For sure.
So now that we've got this shit, I could just throw this right up to his face and be like, "Let's go."
Oh yeah, that's different too.
Knowing Dan, he'll still find a way to be unhearable.
He really will. He really will. And I just realized that I was muted for that time when I was talking. So I'm gonna have to get used to this, but that's all right.
We got a lot on the agenda today. We're going to go over current news just in the beginning, just to keep you guys updated. Me and Liam, I don't know about you, Cheikh, we try to keep up, but then when school takes over, we kind of just lose track and can't keep our head around like what the heck is going on like in the world. So we're going to look at the Donald Trump case, see like what's going on with him, look at some updates on the France protests. I feel like that's an important thing to look at. Little Liam sponsor here, UFC WWE merge.
Yes, sir.
I think that's some big news we got to look at. Some U.S. leaked documents on the Ukraine war. I feel like deserves some attention.
That's big news.
And then as like a little aside topics, what is processed foods? I think maybe talk about like some philosophy, and then maybe get more personal with Cheikh with some specific questions.
For sure.
So let's get the ball rolling. Donald Trump indicted not too long ago, maybe like 2 weeks.
I did see that. Was it tax fraud or something like that?
I found the official indictment on Google, and 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree. First degree, I think, just means he falsified them with the intent to do criminal activity afterwards. And 34 counts. I couldn't find like what the prison sentence is for like just one count, but man, they're attacking Trump with this one, and I think specifically for paying off. What's her name?
Stormy Daniels.
Stormy Daniels.
Stormy Daniels.
I mean, that's been like, we've been knowing about this since you started running, like since 2016, basically.
That's how long the case has been going for since he started his campaign run and then till whatever recently he got indicted. I didn't actually hear about any of it though until recently.
Oh yeah.
Which is do you remember hearing about it in 2016?
I don't think. Like they were just saying, oh, what was it? Hillary. She was just like, oh, show your tax, whatever, show your tax stuff, but they couldn't do anything about it because he became president, and you can't actually like indict a current president, so they had to wait until after he got out of office. But the whole thing is really political right now, so.
Yeah, it is, especially
Super political.
I mean, we're going to be doing some elections here soon, 2024.
Yes.
But we've got, is there like House or Senate elections at the in November this year?
That happened last year.
I think
that was last year.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, but I mean, it's constantly as we get closer to the day of reckoning, to where like we're gonna have to, guys are gonna go through primaries. They're gonna have to pick who's gonna be the Republican representative, who's going to be the Democratic representative. It's like, is it going to be Trump? Biden's probably in no shape to run again.
But he is, I think, going to run.
Yeah, he's definitely going to run, but I don't think anybody's going to vote for him. Everybody's tired of him.
For real. And he's sleepy himself. He's tired of himself.
Sleepy Joe, sleepy.
Sleepy Joe, man.
Dude, I mean, how many drugs are they pumping that guy full of to where he can just function as a normal human?
I don't know, man.
Wait, what kind of drugs can they be pumping him with?
Oh, jeez, dude, everything. How do you think Trump got over COVID so fast?
Yeah, but that was like for health. Like, he was sick, so they diagnosed him and try to save him as soon as they can. What does Biden have? Dementia,
but dude, they could be pumping him with Adderall.
He for real has he has dementia?
No, I'm just like,
okay.
I'm just like busting his balls.
Oh my god!
I mean, he looks so much different than he did 8 years ago, like when he was vice president.
Yeah, for real.
Super different.
I mean, and we see that like commonly with presidents, like Obama, from when he started to when he finished, just completely different.
Gray
guy.
hair.
Like he aged like 15, 20 years in 8 years.
Well, the stress.
Just the stress, bro.
Stress.
But I found a different article, talked about different politicians that also have been like indicted or prosecuted. 78 countries since the year 2000 have indicted or prosecuted their like leaders of their country. In Peru, every president in office from 1985 to 2018 has faced criminal charges. Every
when you're in a position of power like that, especially in a country,
Yeah, dude. I mean, you're pretty much God.
Basically,
in a country like that, to where, I mean, there's probably not that many checks and balances in the government like we have here.
Yeah.
To where, Trump and Biden couldn't actually do a ton with their power. Like maybe they've got like the nuke button. That's the ultimate power. But that guy just controls everything.
Basically.
He's got the checks and balances here.
Privatized businesses and everything, or state-funded, state-run businesses.
Pretty everything.
Yeah.
Literally everything is under this guy's. He's just like this with everything in Peru. Do you know what Peru's like main exports are?
No clue.
It's probably something agriculture, I think.
Looks like there's a lot of mountains in Peru, right?
Peru is that little.
No,
it's
Chile.
a little.
Chile's the little strip of country on the left of South America. Peru is a little, I'm just gonna describe it as square. It's right above Chile.
Yeah, quick search says that looks like southern Peru has a lot of mountains in it.
That probably the start of the Andes.
And their main exports are copper, gold, refined copper, animal meal pellets, and iron.
Okay.
So a lot of mining going on there, and then animal meal pellets.
I'd also like to bring up that another president that makes this list is our boy Lula in Brazil. That won the election. Lula got indicted, got released, and then elected as president for Brazil. Which I think, if Trump did that, I think we'd go crazy.
Dude, the people love Trump.
People love Trump.
I don't know if you guys saw 2 weeks ago, there was a UFC card in Miami. Trump was at the card, and they were showing all the celebrities there, and Trump pops up on the screen. Everyone's just going, yeah, let's go. Dude, they love Trump. They love him.
I think that's crazy. That was like 2 days or something right after he got indicted, and
you got money, you can get out of jail. Get out of jail free card if you're wealthy, pretty much.
He just brings a different feel to to the politics.
He
I think
does.
people just feel like he's like what they see is actually him
True.
instead of like, him, like what he's like behind doors.
He doesn't give off the perception of being perfect.
Yeah.
Because we've seen him throughout, like, as a celebrity throughout his career, and he was always like this super harsh negotiator, and pretty much like a savage in the business world. And now he's the president, and he still is like roasting people during like
Rocket Man.
yeah, dude. I mean, dude, I heard a story about how good a negotiator Trump is. Like, he was doing bidding for like a casino in New Jersey, and another guy was also bidding against him.
Yeah.
And Trump calls him up. He's like, "You're gonna lower your price by $300,000." Trump, no. You're gonna lower your price by $300,000. Trump, no. If you don't do that, I will tell every contractor in the state of New York to not work with you, because like he knows everybody pretty much.
Sure.
And he's like, "You're done." Hangs up the phone. The guy's sitting there like, "Oh God, what did I just get myself into?" 4 hours later, Trump picks up the phone. "All right, fine, you got yourself a deal."
That's like a little toddler negotiation tactic.
It really is.
To tell your friends you won't play with them.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's how you build enemies. That is how you make enemies, dude.
But speaking of money, I think this is ridiculous.
You're fired.
After the indictment, or in the 2 weeks following, Trump received $15.4 million in donations, and the CNN provided some like stats or whatever. They got 312,564 donations, with about each person donating like $50.
Yeah.
That's 10% of the population, just about, I'd say, donating $50 to a former president that just got indicted, and
For his legal fees.
yeah.
Do you know how they were making those donations? Was it just through like his website?
Yeah, just through his website.
And they were specifically for...
Yeah, like just donating to the campaign.
Just to the campaign?
Yeah.
Dude, and now he's going to use those again to buy off some more strippers.
He's like, let's go celebrate.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think he's stressing. I feel like he probably thinks he's gonna win this.
His next court trial, at least in person, I think is in December. 2023 December. I don't know when the actual elections will start to roll out. When do 2024 elections start?
I mean, they're really gonna
November.
They're really
5th.
gonna try to milk this because they don't like the Democrats. They don't really want him to be president. So, like if he gets like convicted, he can't be president.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But
they're really on this.
I don't understand how they're going to do that if the next court hearing is in December, and I just looked it up. The elections start November 4th of this year. Freaking dementia, Joe Biden. Oh, next year. Next year, November. Okay, so actually Trump has a chance then.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get charged or whatever.
You know?
But
Do you guys know any of the other possible people running for
Republican, DeSantis.
DeSantis? Is he the Florida governor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From what I understand, I think he's the number one runner-up instead of Trump. For Democrats, I don't pay attention that much. I've got no clue who's gonna run besides Biden.
I think the guy that was running to be the governor of Texas, but he lost. I think he's gonna try to run again. I forgot his name, but yeah, I think he announced he's gonna try to run.
I think we've been saying this for every election cycle, but this election is going to be the next biggest one. This election will be the next biggest one. And sure. I don't want to say it, but I think this one will probably be the next biggest one too.
I mean,
like imagine we got 4 years of Trump, and all the memes, the hysteria, the hatred, the love, and then we move on to Biden, moving away from that hatred of Trump, and we're going to try to get some things done. But then Biden proves to be also a little incompetent in terms of, at least speaking to the public. You go from a guy that makes everybody laugh to a guy that makes everybody laugh for the wrong reason.
Basically. Now everybody's just itching to have him back. Like even across both aisles, everybody just wants him back.
I'm really interested to see when politics just starts getting taken seriously instead of like being made fun of, at least in America. Because, well, that's always going to happen. You know, Democrats don't like Trump, making funny little cartoons of Trump. Republicans don't like Biden, making stickers of Biden, putting them on gas station pumps. It's always going to happen.
Yeah, it will. I think it's going to take some sort of possible like war or big event for things to get really serious, because I mean we've been at like time of peace pretty much as like normal citizens, so I feel like there's not as much of an incentive to be invested in politics versus you know back before when stuff was going down in like the early 1900s. You know, those were serious decisions. Who's going to be the next president that's going to get us out of like World War II, and who's going to be the guy to get us out of the Cold War and stuff. And I mean, we kind of saw it early 2000s with like the Bushes and stuff when we went over to Afghanistan and Iraq and stuff. But right now, I think it's just going to take something big, which I think is coming, and possibly we're already on it right now.
Oh yeah, ever since the Chinese balloon, Ukraine war.
Everything. We can get to that.
They've been
Ukraine
on
war.
Biden's ass.
Yeah.
They've been on his ass.
They really have, and the economy's been going down a lot. But that's kind of natural with the progression of like.
It's gonna be a culminate, whatever, of everything coming together. So the Russian-Ukraine conflict, I feel like if that doesn't end within another year, something is gonna have to arise out of that. And then China is like as always like having tension with Taiwan, and I've only started paying attention recently, but you know China's saying that like in the next 5 years we're gonna have Taiwan. I think that's gonna start something because America and everybody else wants Taiwan, and then who knows with climate change. I feel like I've been seeing a lot of changes happen pretty quickly. You can deny if the Earth is round or if the climate actually is changing, but you know we're getting snowfall in April in Illinois, or you know massive floods in California after years of drought. Things are going to be changing all around the country, and it could either move in a good direction or bad direction. Like all of India, I think is or not all of India. A lot of them can be like malnourished, and you know if you just raise the temperature by 5 or 10 degrees, their crops will start dying. Nobody will have food. It's like, who's gonna give us food? We're part of this like UN thing.
Yeah.
Who's gonna help us out? And then you know, no one wants to help out, or like some people that should help out don't want to help out. That cause tensions. So I think this next president cycle is why it's important, because U.S. is gonna have to step in to make some decision, I believe.
I mean, I feel like the U.S. is not taken seriously anymore. I mean, everybody's always seen like, oh, it's Americans, you know, those Americans, but I mean, we've always been like a big superpower, but I don't think they take us seriously anymore.
Yeah, I mean, like overseas, it's just like, oh, what's American? Fried chicken, burgers, fries, and just
Supersized,
yeah.
Just the classic like stereotypical American stuff. It's not hardworking, built in America anymore like it probably was 60s, 50s. Now it's these dumb
Americans, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're already talking about the U.S. and government, let's move on to the leaked documents then.
Yeah, this was huge because I really didn't understand the scope of this, and it could not be as bad as what is possible, but I guess we could just go over it first. So
wait, Cheikh, do you know about the leaked docs? Yeah,
I've been hearing about that. They're spying on their allies. They're spying on the enemies. They just fuck themselves basically.
But my thing was, are we surprised by that?
No, I'm not surprised that they have all this info. Just intelligence. They have FBI, Bureau of Investigation. they're going to be investigating, you know, just overseas stuff. Like,
They just should have kept it under lock and key. Why is a National Guard guy having access to this?
Yeah, well, his job for like the National Guard was basically making sure like the internet was up on the bases, so he probably had some access into like back rooms and stuff, to where he was able to just here's a document, print that out, throw that in the pocket and get out.
Yeah, they say like it looked crumpled, like he just put it in his pocket, like he just swiped it, went into the closet. Okay, this is gonna go to the Discord people, bro. Like that's just fucking crazy.
The boys are gonna.
The boys are gonna love this.
but let's get to some details. 21-year-old dude from the Navy, Jack. How do you say his last name?
Not the Navy.
National Guard, something like that.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
But Jack
Teixeira.
Interesting last name. I saw an article saying that allegedly he leaked over 300 documents, and they're taking him in under the Espionage Act, and they can charge using that act for every document leaked, and up to like 10 years sentence per charge.
Man, his pockets must have been full then.
They must. But I think it was over a decent period of time. Also, I think he was doing this over months, until he eventually got caught, and now he's facing, what is that, 30,000 years?
Man, I mean, Discord is
3,000
kind of secure.
Discord,
kind of secure.
Yeah, dude. Every single.
But if the FBI wants, they can just tell Discord to hand them over.
Oh yeah, they're definitely working with them. Yeah.
They literally were like I forget what the document's called, but it's something where it's like basically they handed it to Discord and they said you have to give us access to that Discord channel, and 2 days later they had it, and I don't even think they needed like warrants and stuff. You need a judge to do that, but I think there was something federally which was like, we're just gonna. You gotta
give it to us, yeah.
Yeah, but it was funny because like every single news article talking about Discord was like, it's a chat service made for gamers. Basically. I was like, and then guys were like trying to like kind of save face for Discord. They were like, but don't worry, this isn't like the deep end of the web like some of you might think. There's no child pornography or drug syndicates on this. And then I was just thinking, really? I don't think so. No, Discord's great though. Shout out to Discord.
Discord is really good, man.
Wait. Can you retract that statement, please?
Uh-oh.
This sponsor segment is sponsored by Liquid IV. Liquid IV, we love you. Check, what do you say about Liquid IV?
I tried it out. Thomas gave me one. It's pretty good.
Say that you love it.
I love it.
Oh my god. Liam?
I love Liquid IV. Sponsor us right now.
Now, after that first statement, they're gonna be like, okay, now we're definitely gonna start.
Back to the regular program.
Back to the regular schedule program. But, sorry, you go.
When I was 13, I was skeptical to download Discord because I thought, it was weird. I was just using Skype to talk with my friends. And now that I've moved on to Discord, I never would have imagined. I guess I was just young, dumb, but an open forum to easily speak with other people can be really powerful. So 4chan, Reddit, Facebook, whatever Trump's app is, Discord,
Truth Now,
I think is ass, but Rumble. Discord, like these like just online forums where you can organize people to do whatever you want, but since you're in America, the FBI can just peek in and be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And these people just, I guess, didn't foresee the FBI looking into what they're doing.
Like, what did he say? Why did he do it? He was just like,
he was just trying to flex on his friends.
Yeah, basically like
but then, like, in that Discord, the friends and stuff were, like, they were pretty, like, pro-military in terms of, like, that's what they were interested in. So they were talking about war games and guns and bombs and, like, military gear all the time. So they were interested in that in general. And then they just were like, hey, this guy's got some clearance. let's see what he could do. And then he just did it.
And then one of your teenage members just leak it.
Yeah, for real. All those young bloods messing around. But I think the implications for Russia versus Ukraine seem to be pretty dangerous also. Because now Russia knows that they've got a ton of holes in their communication system that need to be patched up because we've just been infiltrating everything. And now that those are going to be patched up, are we going to have as accurate knowledge of what's going on over there? Because we were pretty much on the level of... Okay, I'm not muted. I'm so tripped up about this. We were on the level of being able to predict things and prevent things before they were even happening with Russia. Now, that might not be the case. Another thing, it got leaked that Ukraine's air defense is... My bad.
Good.
Let me make sure that we're still recording. We're good. It got leaked that Ukraine's air defense is really bad right now. So if Russia wants to mount an air attack with all their planes and stuff, they could do that. So there's for the war itself, there's a bunch of pretty big implications from the leaks.
Mm-hmm. It says like it's gonna be dragged out. Like the war's probably gonna be dragged out all 2023. They're losing. What else? They had actual spies or whatever in the Russian Defense Ministry, and their mercenary group, Wagner Group.
Mm-hmm.
They had people there too. So now all these things are leaked. Those people might not come back.
Yeah, I don't know what much to say, because I can't see, or I couldn't find at least the actual documents that were...
Oh, no, you're not going to find those.
I don't think they'd release
You're not going to
to
find
public,
those,
but,
bro.
you know, I can't trust any really news network saying what they're saying, because at least one controversy was the amount of deaths reported for Ukraine's versus Russia. That was like a talking point in the beginning. You know, they doctored the number of deaths. Russia actually lose up to 100K rather than just 15K. But, and then I saw another thing where the U.S. knew about way more, or at least 4 more, like, China balloons in the air.
Oh, yeah.
And I was wondering, like, why would the U.S. keep that, like, in secrets? Like, why are you just saying this to get views? Is this a factual statement of, like, what was leaked? You said you listened to something on the way here. Did you hear any, like, of the actual leaks, or were they just talking about implications?
It wasn't, like, specific stuff. It was just pretty much implications, but it was a lot. Most of them were in relation to the war.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much a lot of them were an implication to the war. So pretty much what I was just saying with, like, the low air defense, Russia now, like, tightening up their channels of communication. That was pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have nothing much more to say about the docs. I feel like if, like, stuff could come up, but I don't think anything really important has come up yet as a result of the docs being leaked.
Right.
They just arrested some dude. He's going to jail, and then we don't know what the other countries are doing in response.
Everybody's watching now. Everybody's watching and laughing, though.
Yeah, they are. It's kind of... I wasn't really too familiar with Edward Snowden,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of people have been comparing this to that. Not on the same level, though, because I'm not really sure what Snowden exactly leaked, but he was coming at it from, like, more of, like, a moral standpoint. I think it was something about how they're just, like, spying on.
Oh, yeah, they're spying on the American people, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And
Your
Snowden...
phones, everything.
Snowden just leaked that, and this kid, they're saying, does not really have that, like, whistleblower morality behind him. He's just, like...
Well, no, he didn't do it for, that purpose.
Yeah.
He wasn't afraid of his identity being, sought after or being attacked. Snowden had to go to Russia as a, what is it called? Like a...
Asylum?
Asylum.
Yeah.
He had to seek asylum in Russia just because, he called out the U.S. But Let's move on. UFC WWE merge. What is going on, Liam?
Heck yeah.
UFC WWE.
This is big.
This
And when
is
I
big.
saw it, I was like, no way. That's like real wrestling and actual wrestling, like or fake wrestling and real wrestling, like put together. It's gonna be something big.
Are you a fan of either of them?
When I was younger, I was a really big WWE fan. John Cena, The Undertaker,
Triple H for me.
Triple H.
Yeah,
But
buddy.
now I'm really with the UFC.
Yeah, that's kind of the path I took also. WWE when I was younger, then into UFC, but then I've kind of picked up more WWE also. So those two in basketball are probably my three favorite like sports to watch. But so Endeavor Group
Yep.
is like a holdings company that bought the UFC for X amount of $1 billion a few years ago, maybe 2015, 2016. And WWE's been going through some stuff recently. Vince McMahon's had some alleged scandals, paid off a bunch of women for litigation.
Paid off 4 women to avoid litigation, and then moved right back into WWE as whatever the running man.
Yep, because he's got like majority share among like the stakeholders.
Mm-hmm.
So and you have to have like a majority for yes or no to make decisions. And he would just always either what he wants to do, yes, what he doesn't want to do, no. Because he's like 51%. So Vince looks so, if you look up a picture of Vince McMahon right now, he's got like a porn stash. He dyed his hair, but he's still like looking really old. He looks like a dead man walking. But no, that's huge.
Wait, he used to be in the ring, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he used to fight.
Yeah, he used to be in the
He
ring.
used to be in the ring like way like 90s and early 2000s and stuff.
Damn, he looks beat.
Dude, that's not even the worst of it.
The money is keeping him alive.
It really is.
They're pumping him full of drugs. Tell you that.
They are, dude. That guy was on roids.
But basically, this media giant now, I think, valued above $21 billion. I think is insane. I don't know how big, ESPN is.
But yeah, ESPN Plus. You gotta have ESPN Plus to even buy pay-per-view.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's crazy. ESPN, if you're a fight fan, especially of UFC, ESPN Plus is worth it. Because the only fights you can't watch are just the main event.
Yeah, the main event.
Or like the main card, I should say. So like five fights a month pretty much, and you get to watch everything else. So it's worth it. I'm excited to see where they go for the future because the WWE can pack a stadium full of 60,000 people and everybody there knows it's fake. Everybody knows it's not real. It's entertainment. And if they can somehow, I've been muted this whole time. If they can, one of the mics will pick me up. If they can somehow transfer that like crazy marketing skill over to UFC, who's already good, both those sports are just going to explode, I think. And it gives former fighters a good thing to do after they retire.
Yeah.
Instead of just like fighting up until they're really old and then just getting destroyed in CTE, they can go to the WWE and, especially if they're entertaining guys on the mic, they'll do great there.
Well,
They'll do great there.
What about the reverse? WWE people coming into UFC.
I don't know how that would work.
Well, what did Brock Lesnar start with like fighting, or did he start off in WWE?
So Brock's athletic journey started off with him. I'll start from college. He was a Division I national champion, I think, for wrestling at Minnesota.
Okay.
So I'd say he started with a combat sport. Then he tried to go football, and he played like football for some like the Vikings or something. Didn't ever make their full squad. Was just on their practice squad. And then he's like, okay, I'm possibly the greatest athlete of all time, so let me just go to WWE. And he just dominated there for a few years, kind of got bored, and then he's like, okay, let me just go take over fighting. And then he went to UFC for a little bit, and now he's back at the WWE.
Okay.
But
But that seems fine to me.
Yeah, for
WWE star wants to like explore and dabble into UFC.
yeah,
And did he win any fights?
he became the heavyweight champion. But But Brock Lesnar's also like a 1 in 300 million.
Yeah, that
athlete.
if we're talking about specimens, Brock Lesnar is
Brock
Because I've seen Ronda Rousey go from UFC
to
and I've seen her,
WWE.
yeah, in WWE.
Yeah. Shayna Baszler is another person in the WWE that used to fight. Matt Riddle used to fight. But then we see what happens when you go the other way. CM Punk did a fight in the UFC and just got his ass handed to him bad. So I think it's got to be a special person.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be like, there's a guy in the WWE called Chad Gable. His dad's like the greatest wrestler of all time.
Yeah.
So, and he like wrestled collegiately. So those type of guys that have like a background of combat sports probably could, but guys that just train WWE, you're probably not gonna have a good chance.
what's this new stock ticker thing you put in the notes? TKO?
Yeah. So the combined stock for those guys
Is
gonna
total
be-
knockout?
Yeah, TKO or technical knockout.
Oh.
Yeah.
I always thought it was total knockout. Oh my god, I'm dumb. Technical
That's
knockout.
like if we're fighting and I knock you down and you're kind of like wobbling around. Like I don't know if you saw the clip with Izzy.
Is he?
Oh, yeah.
Adesanya, when he lost his belt, he was kind of like still moving, but Pereira was just about to take him out, and then when the refs see something like that, he'll like stop the fight before a guy's actually knocked out. That's a TKO.
Oh,
Yeah.
learn something new.
Yeah, but I mean
Protection.
that stock's gonna do well, I think. And Endeavor, yeah, I'm really excited to see where they go from here because both those companies are so good at marketing their sport, and they're both growing. WWE's starting to go back. They're starting to move away from like their PG, and it's starting to move back into like PG-13 type stuff, like a little bit more swearing, a little bit more blood, which attracts an older audience, which is good for them. And then the UFC, I mean, they're just the biggest mixed martial arts promotion in the world, and they're just on a trajectory to the moon, basically. So.
Well, I think like the peak of WWE, was like the early 2000s clips you'd find of just, like them doing like a talk behind the arena. So
Yeah,
like,
behind
like
the
backstage.
arena. Yeah, The
and then
Rock.
someone would like come in randomly like, what? Or like Vince McMahon like saying like out of pocket shit. Like if they bring that back, I can. Ooh, that shit's going up.
Yeah, and dude, I mean, that's the thing. It's still around. They still do that stuff, but it's all PG stuff, which it doesn't go as viral. It's like, you goofball, you silly guy, you silly goose, that type of stuff.
I mean, I think they'll definitely garner an audience, but it's just that the whole world is more PG now. The whole world is
Very true, very true.
Soft.
For a little, I mean, there's a good quote. I don't know if it really applies to this, but it kind of does. It's hard times make hard men make soft times, and soft times make weak men. And we're on the...
and weak men make hard times.
And weak men make hard times. Yes, sir.
One of my favorite, like at least recent duos, is it Kofi Kingston? It's him, and they got like the Bootios sponsorship.
Yeah, the New Day.
Is that what the duo is called? New Day?
It's a 3-man group.
Oh, 3-man?
Possibly the greatest. Great. They call them. Are they considered a trio or a team? I think team is 4, trio is 3. They're possibly the greatest trio of all time.
Like I remember seeing their like introduction, and I always thought they were so goofy.
Yeah, dude, but they're awesome. All those guys are so entertaining, and they're super good wrestlers. So they kept like the tag team belts on them forever. Like, and those guys, I think they have like the record for the longest tag team champions. The funny thing is, when they first started, they, like their first ever promo, because like when new guys are coming into the WWE, they'll run like promo vignettes on guys to kind of like hype them up before they actually start. And all the promos on them were like them in church, like an apostolic church of God, with like, a whole choir singing, and they're like doing this stuff, and their first entrance was like them in like kind of priest gear and stuff, and then that did not go over well. So then they like quickly transitioned. I don't remember if they went from like a heel to a face or a face to a heel, but they quickly transitioned into like being kind of like silly, goofy. Their ring gear is like based off of like video games and stuff, and then they just exploded from there.
WWE, I mean, it took off a lot of people's careers. Just like The Rock. I mean, I think he started off there.
John
After,
Cena.
yeah, John Cena.
Batista.
Straight into acting. Batista, yeah.
Randy Orton. No.
Yep, Randy Orton's a guy.
Wait, Ray Batista. Is that the dude that's in movies now?
That's Batista.
Oh,
Batista.
yeah.
Yeah, I love him.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I love seeing him in new movies. He's such a great actor.
He really is. That is like the thing. If you're really good in WWE, because you're acting out there, that's like a good transition. After guys get older, they don't want to do all the damage on their body and stuff. They'll just start acting. So I mean, yeah, it's a great avenue for them.
Yeah,
Sure.
Batista's in at least the most recent movie I remember seeing him in is Knock at the Cabin, M. Night Shyamalan movie. It's like a post-apocalyptic thing. He's part of this group of people that had a group vision that the world is going to end, and they basically have to go to this gay couple and they have to sacrifice one or the other in order to save the world from going to like apocalyptic crisis. And he's just such a good actor. Like you just believe him, and like I'm excited to see him in the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie that's coming out.
He brings in like a serious, goofy type manner.
Yeah, he does. His stature's like crazy,
Yeah.
and his physique's crazy, but then he's like kind of a goofy guy.
Yeah.
It really works well for. But then he can also be serious. Like he's world famous for his Drax. Is that?
Yeah, Drax.
Yeah.
He's world famous for that, but then I'm sure he takes a pretty serious role in this M. Night Shyamalan movie.
He's in Dune also.
Oh.
He doesn't play a big role in Dune, but I think in the second movie he's definitely going to. I think they'll focus more on him, or at least show more screen time in the second Dune movie with him in it. But also with WWE, I love the spectacular entrances they make, especially at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I remember a long time ago, before COVID, who's that Russian dude, but was actually Bulgarian.
Yeah.
And he made like an entrance with a tank.
Dude, I was literally just thinking about that same one.
Well,
that's one of the greatest entrances.
The entrances
of all
are
time.
like half the show.
Yeah, they literally are. That guy's he's in a different promotion now. He goes by Mirio, but back then he was. I can't believe I can't remember this.
It's been a while, man.
It has been a while.
He had such a Rusev.
Rusev.
I didn't even look it up.
Yeah.
Rusev. Dude. Was it Stone Cold Steve Austin or someone
Stone
else that
Cold.
had the entrance where the crowd would yell, "You suck! You suck!"
Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle.
Angle.
Kurt Angle. Yep. And oh yeah. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time also. But his entrance was awesome. And he hated that at first. Like they started chanting "You suck," and he's like, "What? And then he kind of like got over as like a face, like a good guy. And then people would still chant it, but he'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah."
They got like that's like WWE is like so many gifs that you see like just come from like random, like just them coming up from the ramp up onto the stage, interacting with the audience and shit.
Yeah, that has to be probably the number one commodity of WWE, and it's getting those like just memorable moments rather than obviously Suplex City or like RKO. Like those are the staple moves that everyone's looking for, which is also just a moment in the WWE. I don't know in UFC. I don't watch as much. If you're looking for those like same moves, or you're rather more into the whole fight, like the fight as a whole, rather than the spectacle of seeing a knockout.
I think UFC is more respectable. Like it is actually kind of like seen like as a sport.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well,
you watch it. I mean, it's a sport, but it's like serious. Like they watch it like front to finish, and then the highlights is what people actually see. Like if you go on Instagram or whatever, but
So
people actually watch the whole show.
I definitely agree, and I think the problem is that everybody can understand getting punched in the face. Striking is pretty easy to comprehend, but when guys go to the ground, people kind of lose interest and get bored, and they don't really know what's going on. So I think, one of the reasons why this partnership is going to be so good is because out of all like the top 4 sports, UFC probably is like the most of a spectacle out of any of them. They do the entrances, they do like, the crazy interviews and stuff. They hype up the fights and stuff. So I'd have to say a spectacle. And like guys, if you watch enough, certain guys have like certain moves, almost like finishers that they're really good at, or they're known for, like McGregor's left hand.
Yeah.
Khabib's
Khabib's like
taken down like on the ground. Like once he got you on the ground, it's like it's over with.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah. So, dude, yeah, both those sports are awesome, and I think WWE is obviously more of a spectacle, but UFC is honestly like one level right below that, and that's probably why it's getting so popular, because it's like WWE, but these dudes are actually like playing a high level chess match with each other. Life or death.
For sure.
It's gonna be fun to see what comes out of that.
Yeah.
Moving back to overseas news, pretty recently, France has been trying to pass a bill to increase the retirement age from 62 to 64, and I think yesterday, Saturday, April 15th, they actually passed it into law. So for 2 weeks, I think just about people have been protesting nonstop crazy in France to oppose this bill. Have you seen clips, of the farmers dumping manure, or like the garbage people dumping their trash in front of like the government buildings?
Yeah, I've been saying that. They brought out the riot gear. It was like Capitol Hill over here, almost. It's just that they couldn't reach the Constitutional building,
But this is different from Capitol Hill. They were just like rednecks opposing election results.
Yeah.
But these people are fighting for their right, or I'm not gonna make a debate. They're just fighting for something that they believe is an injustice towards themselves. And
I mean, shit. If it was me, 62 to 64, that's 2 more years. And if you've been working like as a career all your life, you're getting set to retire at 62. Now you can't even retire. You got 2 more years to finish out.
But
yeah. And I don't know if you guys said this, but no, we're good.
Okay.
The culture in France is like so not oriented to working. Yeah. Like I mean, like America, it's like work. That's you live to work. You don't work to live, or whatever it is. France, they take like 3 hours off every day for lunch. They've got like maybe nap time scheduled throughout their day.
They probably take 10 smoke breaks throughout the day as well.
Yeah.
They smoke. They smoke.
They smoke a lot there?
Yeah, cigarettes.
Yeah. Yeah, they smoke.
Lots of cigarettes over there.
Jeez.
Smoke break.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like a different culture. So I understand the outrage, for sure.
Well, it's interesting to look at both sides of the argument. I remember seeing some comments about how their father couldn't retire, or at least when he like tried to retire, the pension fund just wasn't there for him. Like he couldn't see any of the money, and when he eventually like died, still didn't see any of the money. So all those years of working, he put in the money to the pension fund and doesn't even see any of it. But on the other side of the argument, how are they going to fund this pension fund? I looked up the population pyramid, and the younger population is not wider than the middle-aged population. So what that means is a lot more older people are going to be coming, and then there isn't really a large working base to support those older people.
It's like Japan.
Yeah, I look at the curve, and basically by like 2050, they're gonna, start curving back downwards and losing population. So it's like, how are they gonna get the money? Either you tax people more, or like they did, raise the retirement age so you can get more pension tax. But I think they are, at least the president is gonna try to work with the unions, maybe like make bigger companies pay more taxes, something else. But I'm interested to see if the protests are really just going to keep on going, until they revert that law, or like what do you guys think?
I mean, I think they're gonna have to accept it at some point. Like, it's just a societal thing. Like, people aren't having as much kids anymore. It's just so expensive. People just don't want to have kids. So, and people live longer now. We got medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So the old people are just living longer, and they're not working. The younger people got to take care of that. And if there's not more younger people, it's going to be on the middle aged and people coming into the workforce.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's really tough to say like what exactly is going to happen.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not too familiar with the historical like precedent that protests in France has set. Like, do they usually keep going, or does it kind of like fizzle out and then they just stay like stay mediocre?
I saw this one thing. I mean, France, once they had protests, like somebody was dying because it's like revolutionary, like the revolutionary, like right after the Revolutionary War here. They had a revolution over there. They killed the monarchs, guillotine. I saw a protester have like this sign that said, "Guillotine for Macron? Yes, maybe."
So
it's possible. It could be.
They're just like, oh, the top isn't doing what we want. Let's get out the guillotine.
Yeah.
Let's get it out. Head off.
All right, I think I don't pay attention, but that's what like France is known for. People will just protest. They don't give a fuck. They're like, something to protest.
Yeah. I don't know. It's so tough to say, but I think the thing with age is definitely interesting also. It's like, oh man. And there's a lot of other countries that are also, like you said, Japan. I think
Japan.
Russia and China might be dealing with the same thing also. Maybe not Russia, but China definitely. Because they had that one-child policy for a little bit. So it
might be starting here soon. Because I've seen a lot of people, they don't want kids.
Yeah, dude, you're dead on with like, it's expensive to raise kids, and especially with how overinflated everything is right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in a bubble. It's going to pop here soon. So, I mean, people are just going to keep holding off. And especially if it's like you and whoever you're going to have a child with, two driven, motivated people who maybe they can't find time for that, or there's no family around to help them with like a new baby. They don't have the money to pay for childcare.
Sure.
It's like they put it off. And like you were saying, people are getting healthier. They can push back having kids into like maybe their early 30s and still not have problems. Excuse me.
It's just a lot of things in society,
Yeah, for sure.
I pulled up the wiki on the history of French protests. So obviously the most recent one is the pension reform strikes. And then last year, they protested because I guess Kurds, who are Kurds? Kurdish people? Oh, it's like they're the ethnic group that don't really have their own country, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess 3 of them got killed in Paris, so they started protesting that. And then that same year, I don't think that matters, but 2018, protesting increases to fuel taxes. 2017, May Day protests, Molotov cocktails. I don't know what that's about.
They're just throwing.
2017 protest following accusations of a police officer raping a young black man with a baton.
What the fuck?
2016.
What the fuck? That's actually pretty crazy.
2016 protests to labor reforms. 2016 French taxi driver strike. 2014 pro-Palestinian protests against the invasion. And this is just like the 2000s. This wiki list goes all the way back to the 13th century. So I think
many of those are like probably like small because they haven't the media hasn't pushed a lot of those out.
But I guess it's within their culture to be complaining about things.
Let them have cake.
That's right. Yeah, true.
Movie. Let them have cake.
Yeah.
And then.
That was the start. That's when they were like, we're done.
We're done.
What's the time?
Time for recording, we're at 57.
All right. I'm gonna take a little break. Use the bathroom.
Okay. Sounds good.
Stretch your legs.
Yeah.
I like it. It's been good so far.
Yeah, I agree. It's been very good.
Joe Rogan Podcast, check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
Welcome, everybody. We've got a special shout out to make.
Shootout? We already have enough of those.
No, Sleepy Joe. He said, shout out, you deaf loser.
Yeah, Joe, what are they pumping you with now? It doesn't matter. I'd like to shout out.
Is this another Liquid IV shoutout? Didn't you already do that this episode?
Sleepy Joe, just sit there like a rock and listen.
As I was saying, I would love to make a shout out to Bambafa, the current guest of the Pillbox episode 34.
Wakanda? Interesting that they're making podcasts now.
I think we are running out of time for this shtick. Please follow Bambafa on YouTube and other social media platforms. All links will be in the bio. Now, Tomas, get up from that toilet and get back to the program.
Welcome back from the intermission, I guess.
Welcome back.
I'm gonna move on to some maybe less serious topics. I don't know. The second part of the
Some
podcast.
casual topics.
This will be more Cheikh oriented interview, but also kind of like just a chill part of the episode.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask some questions for you, Cheikh.
Okay.
Well, I don't know how much you got in that little small talk, but what are you studying? Just to let
yes.
the audience know, I guess.
Media and cinema studies. So I'm more focused on video making. I do take photos too, so like videography, I guess. Yeah, I wanna make a movie at some point, someday in the future, but for right now, just making YouTube videos.
I don't know if you caught it when Liam and I would talk about it, but with Grandma's Pillbox, it's like a conglomerate to make all sorts of content kind of underneath that channel name, just as a way for it to be unified, spread out content. I mean, if you want to make a movie, I'm willing to help you. I'm sure Liam, we fit in the time schedule, everything. We're all willing to help out and make like a short movie, and then
Sure.
we get Liquid IV sponsorship. Then we make a fucking AAA movie.
Yes, sir. Thomas and I were actually talking about it, like for future podcasts, especially over this summer.
Yeah.
Anytime we have like a new guest on, we sort of film like a mock intro. Like we were thinking of like recreating the intro from Sopranos. And maybe it's just like, have you seen Sopranos before?
I've seen like an episode.
Okay. Thomas, why don't you show him the intro real quick? But basically, like, every episode, we're going to do, like, a little mini, like, 30-second film of just to kind of, like, hype up the episode and stuff. So, having
It's a
you
little
around,
trailer type,
Yeah,
yeah.
having you around would be awesome for that.
The idea behind it is that in the sense what guest is going to be on the show. So that's why I thought of Sopranos for Nico, because we're always like riffing back and forth and like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, busting my balls over here, And
Come on, Tony.
If you see that Sopranos intro in the episode, you're like, Nico episode. Like we don't even have to show him on the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Like, well, maybe we still do to get those clicks, but. My idea with for you, Cheikh, we didn't film it, but like an X-Files kind of like, or maybe if we talk about aliens or just like conspiracy shit, just X-Files theme. Maybe we're in the woods, someone's dressed in like a Bigfoot like a costume.
Yeah.
Sorry.
TurboTax.
But here's like the Sopranos intro, where it's like like a montage of the city. Damn, Twin
Dude,
Towers.
I love this style of filming also. Yeah. I was thinking we could just drive around like Chicago, and because we get the city vibes also, and it's just like Thomas and Nico like smoking on cigars while driving around.
That's the whole intro, essentially showing like key spots in
Yeah,
the show.
that's a good idea. The creative.
Is there anything you're working on right now?
Well, right now I've just been taking pictures. Like whatever I see, I'll take a picture of. But in the summer, I might be working with automatic, maybe another music video.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, other than that, for right now, just finishing out school.
Yeah.
And then, feeling out whatever. I might start streaming. I really want to start streaming, but I don't know. I just have to start streaming. That's what I want to do.
That's really the hardest part, Cheikh. You don't
Yeah.
I feel the same exact way. I had one stream and then just decided to not stream again because the hardest part is just having the confidence to be like, whatever happens during the stream, whatever. You just need to press that button that starts the
and
stream.
Start streaming.
Cheikh, could you move the mic a little?
Oh yeah.
No worries. Yeah, dude, just actually, and that's why I think for those like little short videos, not putting a ton of pressure on them to like make them like a full 2.5 minute length, like going kind of baby steps at a time when you have like that little creative thought, because it's very daunting having like those creative thoughts and then trying to put it all together, and maybe I don't exactly know how to do this exact effect or something like that, and then you just get overwhelmed and everything's jumbled up, and then you're just like, all right, whatever, I'm just gonna rip the pen and just start watching.
No, not the pen.
No, not the pen. The Honest Abe, as I'm calling it.
Yeah, I
Lincoln's
mean,
on the penny, Benjamin.
It makes you honest.
Yes, it does.
For real.
But I'm interested. Do you have like a creative process at all?
I mean, like when I first started the channel, I was just like, it just like came to me like, well, I'm gonna make a channel, and then I just did it. Like I need to start getting back to that, like just thinking about something and just doing it. Because now I've gotten to I got to the point where I was just been like, okay, what's the next thing I'm gonna do? What's the next thing I'm gonna do? And it's just like, I can't think of anything. So, and then now I've just been waiting for things to come to me, and it shouldn't be like that. I should just be like, I should just get to it. But yeah, like when I take pictures or whatever I see interesting, I take a picture of it, and then once I get down to editing it, it's just whatever looks good to me, whatever progresses the story, progresses the narrative, whatever I see in it, just to make it look good.
Okay. So like coming up with new ideas, you kind of just let them come to you.
Yeah.
Because like I've heard, like Mr. Beast will go on walks, and then he'll like ideas will come to him. Some people will like in the shower. That's like their specific time to where like ideas are gonna come to them. And I don't really have like sometimes driving. Yeah. Like driving here, I was getting a lot of ideas, but I almost want to like lock something down to where like my brain knows, and I've built that habit up to like when I sit down in this chair in this room, it's time to like just start writing out ideas and like doing stuff like that. But I really agree with your take on like you have these things, but it's just so hard to start.
Yeah.
Like, because you've almost like you almost want everything to be perfect before you start, but that's something that Thomas and I have talked about a lot. Just like don't let it be perfect, just go and do it, because you'll get better at it over time.
Yeah.
It's definitely a tough thing, because if it's not great, that little thing in the back of your head's like, oh, people are gonna judge me, or like that sort of thing. But that you just gotta kill that thing. You just gotta take a knife and just.
Especially with how I started my channel, like it was just like any other generic channel. It was like reactions, gaming, whatever. It was just because I was trying to start it.
Yeah.
But then it just got to a point where it was like, okay, I'm just doing everything that I've been seeing. Like I'm not bringing anything new to it. So at that point, I just got off of it, and then things happened. Like I got in touch with Otto, got in touch with other people in Villa Park. Started making the music videos, and I'm like, okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do project based, so I don't get burnt out. Because I was making like 2-3 videos every week,
Yeah.
especially during school. So
That's definitely, yeah, there's definitely something for that also. You don't want to get burnt out. There's an interesting case, I don't know what university, but it was a photography class, and it was the teacher split up into two groups. One group had 10 pictures they needed to submit by the end of the semester. The other group, 10 pictures they had to submit every week. And so those people were just constantly taking photos every week, getting better, getting more used to like their equipment and just having like an eye and being constantly invested. The other people, maybe they waited until like the last day of the semester to get those pictures. And it was just like the ones that were doing it consistently all the time were far better off than the ones who said, all right, put everything into these 10 photos. That's all you have to do for the semester. An interesting thing that I have to think about.
it definitely.
I was muted that whole time.
Yeah.
We're going to invest in a third mic here soon. For now, I mean...
Well, what are we going to use? The mixer only takes in 2.
More money!
I mean, like, what did I do? I mean, I started off, like, just recording. Like, I'd open up the recording app on my phone and just, like, put it down and, like capture the recording on my phone. Just, like, straight, just the voice recording.
I mean, that's what we did, too, you know. Like, when you have that, at least drive that, you know, I want to take these pictures, or, like, I got to take these pictures by the end of the week. Like, you'll do anything. Like, you use the recorder. Liam and I, you know, I found this random app on the App Store that, like, records the voice memos, but in MP3 format, so we could use them. And then, you know, I was like, oh, what if we use the phone? Or no, Liam had the work camera. Like, okay, we'll just use that. Like, you know, we have this for free. Use that, and then utilizing the phone that you have, which is an amazing tool for at least content creation. Like, you just gotta use like whatever you got to just make what you want. Because if you got the drive, it shouldn't matter what you have, because you know you just want to put something out there.
Yeah. That's true.
Question from Celia for you, Cheikh. Okay. She thinks you're a pretty emotionally intelligent person, and was pretty curious about what is one piece of advice that has stuck with you, and for what reason has it stuck with you?
One piece of advice, like what type of advice, like in general, or?
I guess whatever comes to your mind first.
I mean, it's kind of funny she says that, because me, since I've just grown up like a quiet person, I just observe, I just watch people. So maybe that's where it comes from. But me, myself, people have said I'm nonchalant. People have said I'm nonchalant, so I don't show emotion. Like, I've even had problems with my girlfriend. She says that. So, I mean, I can definitely see that. But, yeah, for me, it's just observing and watching people. And I think, I mean, sometimes you just got to be quiet. Sometimes, and if people don't know, people don't know what they don't see or what they don't hear. So if people don't hear you, maybe they're not going to pay attention to you. You can watch more, you can see more, you can think more.
I mean, that's a valid piece of advice. You'll see Sigma edits be like, the most dangerous person in the room is not the one that talks the most.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true.
It's the one that's just sitting there silent.
That's true.
I am the one who talks.
I am the one who talks. No, I am the one who listens.
I am the one who listens.
I like that, though. It's not a piece of advice that you shouldn't, or that you should look into. What am I trying to say? But, like, I'm sitting in class, and rather than raising my hand, what's that detail? Raising my hand, what's that? Like, I just, like, sit there and observe. I let the questions come in after I've heard everything, you know? But there's specific cases where that doesn't really matter.
Don't lag around too much, but don't jump the gun. That's what I would say.
If we're bringing up random pieces of advice, I told this to Liam. I really like this quote. The gift of this doesn't really connect to whatever you said, but I just want to say it. The gift of the game of life is that you get to play the game of life, and you know, it sounds like a little play on words, but you know, you don't need to think of this life, its purpose, as what's coming afterwards, what's coming beforehand. It's really just, oh wow, like I get to play the game of life, you know.
For sure.
What if Monopoly has never been released and now you get to play it? Like it didn't matter that it wasn't released before, or that maybe, you know, there'll be different Monopoly games in the future. You just get to play the game. You know, maybe you don't get excited about Monopoly. Who cares? This is just an analogy.
Yeah, you know. I mean, like, you wake up every day, whatever you're doing, like, you're just happy you woke up that day. You woke up. It's some people just wake up and just lay down the whole day, or like lay down in bed. But if you get up and you're doing something during your day, that's like a big accomplishment. You should be proud of yourself for that.
You like that quote, Liam?
I do. Just personal experience has just told me that, like, when I'm doing stuff, I just feel so much better. Like, oh, you know, man, I'm just sitting here scrolling on my phone. Let me just go on a walk. Let me just do this. Let me just, I got some homework due in a few weeks. Let me just work on that. Let me just keep myself a little busy. And then especially, like, by the time you get 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, it's like, oh man, I've been doing stuff all day. I've been productive. I'm super tired. Time for a great night's sleep. And then, like, you kind of just, like...
Oh, yeah, you sleep very good.
You kind of just, like, get into that routine of just feeling great and being productive and stuff, which I think it's a good spot to be.
I saw a little math equation that, like, kind of connects. It's, you know, 1 raised to the power of 365, so, like, the days in the year is still 1, but 1.01 raised to, like, the power of 365 is 39. So just like 0.01 effort every single day compounds so well. And that's like the part of playing the game of life, is putting in that little bit of effort every single day to reach whatever goal it is that you want, or, you know, at least make some type of progress, whether you're tracking it or not. Yeah, I resonate with what you said. And I think that's a cycle that I need to be put through.
It's a great cycle. And I think over the summer, it's gonna be good. I'm so excited. So excited for the grind.
Well, we just gonna be straight out of college, man. And yeah, like right now it's like pivotal. Like, what are we gonna do after this? Like, school's done. Like, what are we doing? Like, what's gonna be the next? What's the next 2 years gonna be like?
Game of life, man.
The game of
You never
life.
know.
Speaking of, I'm sorry, Liam, but this is a perfect connection.
Yeah.
But grinding every day, you know, getting up, doing stuff, going back to sleep. I'm surprised you still haven't asked this question. Check, what does your daily routine look like?
Daily routine. Well, wake up, take a shower. I pray. I'm Muslim. I'm supposed to be fasting today. It's Ramadan, but
Ramadan still going?
Ramadan's still going up until
then
the 21st.
you're not allowed to drink water.
I'm not supposed to be, but today I haven't even been fasting.
Well, we'll censor it on camera, so you don't know.
It's cool. It's cool. I wasn't even fasting before I came in here, so
That
it's
cup
okay.
is empty.
No, it has liquid IV.
Yeah, look what I mean. But
It strictly says in the Quran you can have some liquid IV.
Dude, people probably like break their fast with liquid IV. Like, I feel like that's a pretty good thing to put in the body first thing.
electrolytes. Yeah,
Yeah,
especially after being deprived.
Yeah.
Isn't it just like when the sun's down that you're allowed to break fast?
Yeah. So when the sun's down, you can eat up until dawn, and then dawn to sunset, you can't eat. But yeah, to my daily schedule. I mean, right now at school, But probably if it wasn't school, yeah, same thing. Probably wake up, pray everything. But I tend to take a lot of walks too. And that's usually when I take pictures too. So yeah, I mean, I just gather. I don't usually edit every picture that I get, so I just take a picture, take pictures, and then like once I have like a collection, and then I decide to put it all together and see what I can do from there.
What about like specific details? Like, do you have a skincare routine, or do you maybe like do you pray before bed?
Yes. So being a Muslim, we pray 5 times a day. Dawn prayer. Usually, I mean, if you're not waking up at dawn, like right after you wake up. So dawn prayer, like afternoon prayer, or midday prayer, I would say, like 12, midday, afternoon, and then the sunset, and then later during the night.
Isn't this only during Ramadan?
No, that's
5 times
365.
throughout the day for
365.
Okay.
Yeah. And Ramadan, you pray more. So after the night prayer, usually you pray a lot more after that.
Mm-hmm.
But 365, 5 times every day. But I mean, skincare, I use Aveeno, like right after I take a shower, every day. Yeah, people have been complimenting me.
You got
but
some
I
nice
haven't-
skin, Cheikh.
Yeah, man.
I'm jealous.
You know, I mean,
I drink a little bit of soda and my face breaks out so bad.
Yeah, it's the diet just is crazy for like the effect on everything. Everything is connected, dude. So
everything is connected.
everything is connected. So you just
I mean,
gotta-
my diet is not even that anything special. I do drink pop sometimes, but yeah, it's just making sure you just wash your face and your bed sheets.
Wait, Liam, do you do
Every 2
skincare?
weeks.
Anything? Wait, what?
Your bed sheets.
bed sheets is a
Every
huge
2
one.
weeks.
That's a huge one.
Your bed
Pillowcases
sheets.
and
Yeah, the
stuff?
pillowcases. If you don't wash it,
Don't go in my bed.
yeah, bro. Like the pillowcase, like you laying down on it, like the dead skin and everything's just staying on there, man.
All that grease from your
All
hair
that
and
grease,
stuff. Oh,
yeah.
dude, I mean,
You gotta wash your bed sheets.
yeah, and I'm someone who loves to just like burrow my face into my pillows when I'm sleeping. So that's just like
Yeah, man. All that is just coming back.
Pause.
You know?
it really is.
Oh, pause. Well, you know?
My skincare, my mom is she's a cosmetologist and she works at a spa. So I've always had like a pretty good there's been stuff all over the place. So I like tried different stuff. She's put me on different techs and stuff, different skincare metas and that sort of thing. And my thing is just every time I'm shower, I'm like washing my face with like it's like a salicylic acid, almost like acne type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I'm out of the shower, I'm just using a face moisturizer, chapstick, and then once a week I'll do like an exfoliating scrub or like a charcoal mask. Just because, yeah, you know you get that stuff just kind of like deep down in the pores, and you need to like the scrubs especially get like all that dead skin off and get your new skin. They're pretty nice, and like you know my whole family, like my dad's face has always been really oily. My face is really oily. All my siblings have really oily faces, so we all just try and like keep up on a schedule. But yeah, food destroys my skin. If I'm not eating rock solid, I'm done. I'm done.
I feel.
Thank God I wasn't muted. Go.
I asked Celia, I was like, what's the most basic like skincare routine? Because I'm usually pretty lazy, and you know, just facial cleanser and then moisturizer is all I do. So in the morning, I'll skip that part, but you know, just I love the feeling of the facial cleanser. Just like I get a little wet and like, and then I clean it off, put on the moisturizer, SPF 500 or 50, whatever. 50 SPF.
Yeah, it helps to right after you finish brushing your teeth, or maybe before you brush your teeth, like so you do it every day and
Yeah, you have that habit built.
yeah.
But have you thought about like a cold exposure? So there's cold showers. I think it's pretty tough to do a cold plunge in school, but I've been ever since you've shown me that cold plunge, Liam. I have not wanted to go away from cold exposure. So I think almost every single day I've been doing a cold shower. I've probably skipped maybe like 2 or 3 days.
That's impressive.
That I just set up my
very
phone.
impressive.
I set up my phone. I'm standing in the shower. I turn it on. I'm like, it's right there. Click start, and I just jump in. And I'm like,
Yeah.
1 minute every single morning. I just put myself through that. And,
Oh man.
And like, but you do like entire cold showers. You're like,
Yeah.
Oh, no.
like clean your whole. I can't do that. I have to like stand there, just rub myself so I get some warmth.
I mean, like I do that sometimes. Like I'll just have like a binge, or like maybe like a month or a few weeks. I'll just do straight cold showers. But I mean, if you just once you get in the shower, you just turn on the cold water. Like within that first minute, yeah, it's like hell. But eventually, like your body just like the temperature just tunes down, and then it just feels like warm water, but it's actually cold water.
Dude, and the nice thing is now that summer's coming around, it's gonna be real.
It's gonna feel good.
It's almost vital, dude. If I take a hot shower, I feel like I'm sweating for like 2 hours afterwards. And it's awful. It's like, but the cold shower, like, all of your pores are closed and everything. You're just, sometimes you come out and you're like red. You're like, oh God, that feels so good right now. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely eventually gonna wanna invest in a ice bath. I've got to look at the prices because it might be just as good to just like every day over the summer because I've got that bin, just like buy some ice.
I have a rain barrel. I wanted to use it as a rain barrel.
Yeah.
I have 2. I'm thinking about repurposing one for an ice, like a cold plunge.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that sucks though is like at least during the summer, how are you gonna keep it cold?
Right.
That reminds me, how's your garden doing? I've been seeing those posts. I remember.
Well,
like your garden.
Well, the garden's at home, so my mom's starting the seedlings for tomatoes and stuff. But right around this season, when it starts to get a little bit warmer, you're losing the below freezing temps is when you want to start like creating your seedling base so that you can put it in the garden. But right now, nothing's growing. Right now, the weed is dead. The tomatoes are dead. The cucumbers are dead. But I mean, once May starts rolling around, we're gonna plant them in and get the growing season going.
But
Though you won't probably see much updates because I'll be gone for 5 weeks over the summer. I'm going to Lithuania for an internship.
Okay, what?
Yes, but big plans for
Right back to Lithuania after the vacation.
Yeah, I just got pretty lucky in finding this internship. It just puts me straight into my career, see how it looks, get some real life skills, put it on the resume. Should be pretty good, or at least easier to find a job back here once I come back.
For sure.
It's gonna be awesome, I think. Is that early summer, midsummer?
June to July.
Oh yeah, that's midsummer.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm done with school, so like when I come back, like game of life, baby.
Game of life, let's get it.
Wait,
Yeah.
check. Are there any TV shows or movies or books that you're currently into?
Oh, we just finished up The Last of Us.
All right, okay. I think you watched it.
Yeah, I
I
did.
watched it. What do you think?
They did a really good job on the adaptation. They did a really good job on the clickers too, I feel.
Did you play the game?
Yeah, I played the game. I played the first game. I didn't play the part 2 one.
I have not played Last of Us, and I don't think Liam you have. So we watched it with fresh eyes, and then you watched it with a previous game experience.
Yeah, previous game experience. It was really good. I think they did it justice. Yeah, one of the executive producers was actually the director and the creator. But yeah, I think they did a really good job on that.
I think they meandered a little bit towards the end of the season, though, and that's kind of where I lost interest, at least in the show, because the first 3 episodes did really well in grounding the story, or just whatever Last of Us did, grounding the story in, and then I feel as though in the latter half of the season, trying to adapt those gameplay stories or like video game stories to a cinematic experience didn't translate well, at least in my eyes. It felt like dedicated a whole episode to a story arc that just eventually ends in the end. Like when they went into the Raider city, and befriended this the guy and his child, and then they just die in the end. Spoiler: everyone dies in the end. It's The Last of Us.
Yeah.
But it kind of took away, my want to be invested in the story. If this might sound mean, but the episode where it was what's Ellie's background before, where she had to shoot her friend.
Yeah.
I was completely zoned out that episode. I was watching with Tiki, and he's like, I know exactly how this episode's gonna play out.
Yeah.
He predicted every story arc and how it was gonna end, and I guess it kind of got me disinterested in it. But
that part wasn't even part of the original game. That part was actually a DLC. So it was a separate little extra game part.
Okay.
So it was a little extra story. I guess they just put it in there just for the TV show, but yeah, it wasn't actually part of the full game. But other shows, I've just gotten back into South Park.
Nice.
I've been binge watching since season 1.
Got the One Piece hoodie on.
Yes, One Piece.
Are you caught up on
Yes.
manga also?
Oh, not manga.
Oh, not manga.
I have not been watching. I have not been reading the manga. I've only been watching the anime.
So is the anime? They're in Wano, right?
Yes.
Okay.
For the past 2 years.
Yeah, I think so.
Man.
One of my former roommates, one of my current roommates, they're both caught up on the manga, and they love One Piece, so that they always kind of put me on the game, or put me on game rather, and dude, the last 2 chapters apparently that they just came out with have just been the most peak thing ever. Amazing stuff. And I'm like, okay, I don't really know what's going on in Wano, and I know there's there's the Navy, and there's the pirates, and there's these higher level guys, and there's Shanks and his crew, and...
Well, Shanks isn't even there yet. That was probably, what's her name? Marineford.
But
Where
just in
everybody
terms of
came together.
characters and the story, I know Shanks is a character kind of, but Kaido, Big Mom,
Big Mom.
all these characters. But yeah, I don't know what happens. They didn't tell me, but they just said it was great. So.
Right now we're just getting towards Luffy beating Kaido. He already lost twice. So.
So now it's gonna be his time.
Now it's gonna be his time. Really, One Piece is every arc is they're trying to save the area or the island or whatever from the big pirate guy. Ever since Arlong Park, every single one.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah.
an interesting show. It's very daunting to try and get into it, knowing how long it is and knowing that there's really no stop. It's do I really want to get caught up?
Probably
in
for
this?
the next 2-3 years. Not
Yeah.
gonna stop. 4 years maybe.
Yeah, but any other anime you've been watching?
Other than that one, which is pretty continuous, I've been catching up with the newer ones like 1 season animes. Tomo-chan is a girl. That one's like a tomboy.
Yeah, I've seen that. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
Any really big ones like Chainsaw Man or?
Yeah, Chainsaw Man. Finished that one. Demon Slayer. They're just starting their 3rd season now.
I saw that. Fire. I loved the Entertainment District.
Yes.
That was awesome.
I really like how they. It's already a little historical aspect, but I really like how they put it all into it because it really gives it more flavor, I would say.
Intro song, banger.
Entertainment
arc?
Yeah, the entertainment arc. But every time I watch episodes, usually animes, I'll watch the intro for the first episode.
Yeah.
Every time after the new episodes come out, I just skip it.
Just skip it. Yeah, a lot of them are mid, so that's what I usually do. But if it's real peak, I'll just listen through it the whole time. Because it's almost like a trigger for my brain. It's oh, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Oh God, something's about to happen.
Chainsaw Man's intro.
Fire.
Very nice.
So good.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of references like movie references within the if you see specific scenes, you could probably find them with movie scenes.
That's pretty cool. We got a hour 34 on this.
You've had that book on the table.
I have had this book on the table.
You want to talk about it?
Sure, I'll say a little bit.
The
I mean,
Almanac.
we've brought this up on the pod before, but it's just the Almanac of Naval.
Oh, you're gonna do it? You're gonna read something?
I'll read a little excerpt out of it.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay.
Yeah, this guy, in conglomeration with Tim Ferriss, it's called a Guide to Wealth and Happiness. Just a bunch of basically tweets that have come from this Naval guy, and just kind of like ways to live your life, mindset type things. And yeah, it's just, there's so many gems. Let's see if I can find one that would be good for what we're doing right now.
Life.
Big life.
I'm just interested. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
Come on.
I know. I found.
Let me pick.
I found one, but
Okay.
I'll let you guys pick one also. This one just kind of works because we're all kind of interested in arts and creating, but whether in commerce, science, or politics, history remembers the artists.
Whether in commerce, arts, or sciences, history remembers the artists.
Mm-hmm.
Arts, art, commerce, art.
I think it's just saying that like no matter what field you're in, like the artists are the ones who are remembered. Because you can be an artist in any field, I feel. If you just kind of throw like a creative spin, or just maybe you're a little bit more unique, then you'd be okay.
That's
an
innovation.
artist. Yeah. So I don't know. I probably could have found a better one, but
Well, it kind of just like leads you to think, what's a new way to do this, whatever I'm doing, or what's a way to showcase this in a way that people can like find value with it.
mm-hmm.
What?
Move a little bit closer to the mic.
Oh, am I speaking too softly?
A little bit.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Let's see. To the extent money buys freedom, it's great. But to the extent it makes me less free, which it definitely does at some levels as well. I don't like... Wait, is this a whole... is this the entire script? Or...
I think that's just that's comments based off of like the little. Is the actual tweet, and then.
I'm dumb. All right, let me.
A tweet?
Yeah, it's just a tweet that this guy's had. This guy's like a super young CEO, like pretty much genius guy on wealth and happiness. Has a lot of good takes, and Tim Ferriss is a guy who's got this app called the Waking Up app, and he basically just like guides you through like meditations and stuff.
Okay.
So it's
Check. I think you like this one. The hardest thing is not doing what you want. It's knowing what you want.
That is true. That is true.
I resonated with too.
Because like you work so hard to get to a certain point. You get to that point and then it's like, okay, well I got it now. And then you look towards this next thing. You get there and you feel the same. It's like, okay, I got it now. What's next? So like it's never enough, Yeah.
All right. Do you want to find something?
Yeah, I can find something.
It's in like these little boxes.
Okay.
That's what I just want to just have like a little consistent daily habit of just like reading 1 or 2 a day.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
It's almost like a meditation in a sense.
This one looks nice. A happy person isn't someone who's happy all the time. It's someone who effortlessly interprets events in such a way that they don't lose their innate peace.
I've heard that one before. I like that.
Yeah, I did that one on the pod.
Oh, you did?
I've done
You've done that one on the pod?
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, let me
I like
do
that
something
one also.
different.
I like that one a lot.
No, that was true though. That was true.
No, we can talk about that for sure. I like that one.
Let's
a
talk
lot.
about that one, Cheikh.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to say this earlier, but I couldn't wrap it in. But what's that quote? It's like, smell the roses and the lilies or something. I'm literally the epitome of that quote. Like I'm walking to class, at least during the springtime. I'm finding my happiness in just seeing the growth of new trees. Like legit, I walk down this street to my classes every day, and I'm just looking around, noticing, did a new tree grow did this tree like start to bloom yet? Did I just not notice this tree before? And you know, I posted on my story like a tulip tree started like blooming, and I have not seen any other tulip tree like start to bloom. And just seeing that, like, wow, this thing is starting to grow. Start its like seasonal cycle of growth, and it just brought like happiness to my face. Or like I'll see a slug like after a rainy day, and I've not seen a slug all winter. I'm like, whoa, and like I just stop to look at it, and it just makes me happy, like to notice these like smaller details. Like I'm smelling the roses, baby. Like I'm fucking snorting the roses.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like you just have to have like I said, you just have to have peace with yourself. I feel like you could find peace in anything, you know, like like just walking outside, sleeping, whatever you're doing, but. There's also the silver lining in anything you do. You know?
Yeah, I agree, and I think just not getting caught up in everything is also super important, and that kind of is like a good way to just take a step back from everything and just absorb, just kind of do what we were doing for hundreds of thousands of years, which was looking at things in nature and thinking about things and that sort of stuff.
What was the last part of that quote? Like you're not innately happy.
Well, a happy person isn't someone who's always happy. Someone who interprets things in a way
that doesn't disturb their peace.
That doesn't disturb their inner peace.
Yeah, that last part, I think I probably said the same thing in the last podcast where we mentioned it. But that part is so important, where you need to change your interpretation of any bad news. Just the other day, Vicar's locked my keys in my car, and I imagined like dating back to maybe when I was like 13 or 14, where I probably would have just started yelling, getting mad, or like seeing the worst in the situation. But honestly though, like my natural reaction was like, all right, well, let's just see like what can I do to get the keys out, like get a wedge in the car or whatever. Like I didn't really like freak out. Just said like accepted that like my keys are in the car, I can't do anything about it. It's not gonna, like, if they were outside the car, inside the car, I'm still like the same person.
Yeah.
But and then I felt like the universe kind of gave me a gift, because like as I was trying, like looking at it, my car for some reason unlocked itself. Like I heard like a I'm like, what? And I opened the door and it's unlocked, and I'm like, let's go. Yeah, like just like in that moment I was like, wow, I got like a little gift for like just keeping my inner peace.
Just letting that energy go, because that just holding that doesn't help you at all. It just, I don't know. It just holds you down. It just holds you down.
Most definitely. Have you ever had like a thing with anger, or at least like letting emotions take over?
Not really. I don't think so. I try, and that's something I've like been fairly proud of, is like my ability to just be kind of like stoic in those situations. Like I usually, the thing for me though is I'll usually just internalize it all, and then it'll turn into stress, and then it'll like really affect me, in whatever way it does. But I've been around people that like do have that like, kind of like almost anger towards life, and just, I don't know, not living life like that I think is important. Just, and almost like it sounds kind of like, oh, I'm better than you, but just like being there for someone to kind of like walk them through like a bad situation that happened, and just reminding them like it's not the end of the world. That could be seen as like a little elitist, like, oh, I'm better than you. I don't get worked up in these situations, but it's also like some people need that.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true.
Since you brought up a book, here you go. Here's your little.
Thank you guys. Check out
philosophical book.
Yeah.
But I guess speaking of philosophical, I've also been reading a little bit. One book.
Ooh, I see Blade Runner.
Yeah. I'll get to that in one quick minute. Dune is the first book I've read in long ass time. I tried to read Moby Dick, didn't finish it, but then I got started on Dune in the Christmas, and I finally finished it. Great book, I think, and then I believe, great book. I believe. What do I say here? This is a great book. This is indeed a great book. And then second book, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Is the movie that Blade Runner and 2047 or 2027 is based off of. And I gotta say that the book is completely different from the movie. The movie takes the same premise, but tries to take the story in like a different timeline or a different direction. Whilst this book takes place in a 1 day span, just kind of like as a character human study. And then I just got this book in the mail yesterday, Roadside Picnic. It is a Soviet era novel from Soviet authors. And the premise of the book is that aliens have left behind artifacts in this desolate area, and there are people, and it's protected by the army, and people are willing to sneak in to get artifacts out to sell them on the black market. But there's also a movie called Stalker that's based off of this book, and there's this one special premise where there's a room in this little zone where the aliens have been that brings you your most wanted desire. And so you reach this room and you get what you want most in life. And the little story, in Stalker, I should probably explain, is a person that sneaks people into the zone to get like what they want. I don't know why they're called a stalker, but that's just like the name of the role. But the little backstory is that this stalker never entered the room himself because he heard of a story of another stalker who lost his brother in a journey of bringing him into the zone. And he was like, I want my brother back. So he goes into the room, and instead he just gets a lot of money. Like, he wanted to bring his brother like back to life, but instead, like, his deepest desire was just to have more money. And that like made him depressed, and like he killed himself. So I guess this stalker is kind of like afraid of what he really desires.
Yeah.
And this kind of ties into what I want to talk about with these three books, which is like, I've been loving sci-fi because it tells a societal like take, you know, like if we were to go down this path, like how would humans react? What's their human behavior? With Roadside Picnic, like what are people willing to do, or like, or what kind of characters are revealed when you try to get to a room that can get you anything you want. With Dune, the main thing behind this is power corrupting. You know, Dune is a sand planet with this spice that everybody wants. And I won't go too further into it to like not spoil it for you if you haven't seen the movies or read the book. And then Blade Runner, it's like they're in a post-apocalyptic like nuclear Earth. Most of the people are on Mars because they started like a colonizing program. So the only people on Earth are people who couldn't like afford to like go to Mars, or like, you know, they just decided to stay. But the only way they were able to colonize Mars is because they made organic humanoid robots like to act as slaves. Since they're not real humans, we can like just use them as workers. But it gets a little touchy when they start thinking like, well, who's a human?
Yeah.
Who's a robot? And then no animal is living. So the title, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? One of like the status symbols is owning a real animal versus an electric animal. And they're like, well, do androids dream of electric sheep? And I think all these books like together, I still haven't read Roadside Picnic, but like I love hearing those little philosophical like short stories. Dune is not a short story, but like, you know, just these little portrayals of how humans may behave under certain utopian or dystopian scenarios.
I mean, I'd say, like, yeah, all those elements are like real life, But people, I would say people really don't change. People don't change that much.
Well, yeah, like Dune, written in the 60s, Blade Runner, or at least whatever, Android's Electric Sheep, I think written in the 70s, 80s. Roadside Picnic, also like during the 60s or 80s, like Soviet era. Like reading these old books is very interesting because, you know, they don't know the future. These guys are dead while I'm reading this book in the current day. And it's interesting to try to apply it to real life in some way or another. Do you read books, Chuck? Besides for school?
I used to heavily read books. I don't really read books anymore. But like back in middle school, high school, like I'd just be in the cafeteria just reading books. Like, what was it? I read this one book called The Scorpion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically kind of like the premise of the androids, but it's actually a clone. It's this really old guy. He has clones of himself, but they're younger versions of himself, and he's basically they are gonna inherit basically all his whole enterprise, and it's basically like a heroin business, opium business. And since everything is really desolate, that's the only way people can really get money. And it's just the clone story. The clones figuring out, okay, how do I fulfill my duty to this guy, to basically myself, and myself. It's yeah. And I've also read the Alchemist. I really like The Alchemist.
I've heard a lot about that book. What is it about again?
Basically, this kid in Spain goes on a journey to find himself. I would say. Comes across all these things that he wants, but he finds out actually he doesn't even actually want these things, but they were just tools to get him to where he actually needed to be.
Would you say you like so Alchemist, at least the Scorpion one, it sounds like it's a little sci-fi-esque.
Yeah.
But is the Scorpion one, or no, the Alchemist one?
The Alchemist, no.
Or,
it's more of just like it's more spiritual.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to say that, like, at least reading these two books, I don't want to sound like I'm all sort of like some book buff or whatever, but I found that sci-fi really entrances me into, like, at least believing the story in a way, like, where if I read a rom-com, I'm not going to care because, like, I'm already in love. I don't want to feel that story of love or whatever,
Yeah.
but, like, in the sci-fi, it's way more grand-esque, and, like, you get to dive into the world, and by being able to dive into these sci-fi stories, I get these, the themes that come from the book, such as, like, what are the clones thinking? Like, do they eventually, like, think, like, kill this dude so I can get the heroin business and keep living? Or, like, well, in Blade Runner, it's a robot that's ordered to kill, like, other robots. So it's like, does the robot go through, like, a moral, like, weird, like, gear grinding? Or, like, or with Dune,
Everybody's fighting for this spice.
yeah. I'm really interested to read more because I'm finding more value in reading fiction. Whereas before, like, reading these sci-fi novels that I thought, well, it's just fiction, it's just like a story. And, these non-fiction books like Atomic Habits or something else, like, I can directly apply it to my life. But I finally found the value through reading these books of reading fiction, at least. Liam, I don't know. You said you haven't been able to do much reading recently?
Not really. I don't know. I just haven't really been reading much. I'm almost done with Atomic Habits, but the only time I'm really reading it is, like, right before class, like waiting for class to start. I pull the book out and I just start reading it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, because I've got a lot of nonfiction books, and I'm wondering if I start incorporating some fiction, like you were saying, if I'll get something else out of it.
It's a different reading experience, whereas you're reading Atomic Habits, you're consuming it in a mindset where, like, how do I apply it to myself? Whereas when you're reading fiction, it allows you to let go of that reasoning for reading and, like, kind of just buy into the story. And, switching between the two can help you, still stay excited for reading. I feel like social media has really made it hard to keep my attention span going. But I don't know, something about the Blade Runner book, I finished it in 3 days, and I was just, like, really into the story for some reason. And I think it's because I did the marathon of reading Dune, and I'm like, 200 pages, that's nothing compared to the 800 I just read.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, with, like, nonfiction, that the story was real, like, in this time, that, like, in this plane that you're living in.
Yeah.
So with the fiction, it's basically a whole nother world. You're bringing yourself. You're an observer basically. It's objective, and that way you can see. You can think about things differently. You can see it instead of like a subjective way, where your emotions and everything are tied into it. So, I kind of like that.
Yeah, opening up a different perspective towards the story, rather than like a linear narration of nonfiction. You can have diversions where it's all of a sudden from this other character's point of view during the story, where all you knew was whatever you were told between like this dude, but now all of a sudden you're getting like in the middle of the action this dude's point of view. And it's like, interesting, like this is what's going on behind the scenes, or it's like this is how they actually feel. Like, I wonder, like, is the U.S., like, spying on all these people? Like, what's the side character's POV from, like, how do they feel about being spied on by the U.S.? That's such a random example I brought up, but it's just what I thought of right away. And
it's like The Last of Us. Like, Joel, like, you see the person that he was before, and then how his daughter died, and how that changed him, and then him meeting Ellie, and how he sees his daughter in her, and he wants to hold on to that, and then because of that, he kills all these people, and condemns humanity to more of this suffering, just so that he could keep this fleeting relationship. So it really makes you think.
So, guys, I think we've exhausted all of our subject matter for today. So, I'll cue the outro.
Yeah, cue the outro. SD card is full. SD card's full over there. So, yeah, we're starting to fill up. This has been a
2 hours, like 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah. No, this was awesome.
Each episode gets longer and longer.
It does, dude.
But you know what? I love it.
It's easy when you got someone that's nice and easy to talk to, and got a bunch of good topics and stuff. I like doing the current event stuff because that really gives us an opportunity to like discuss and give our opinions on that stuff.
Yeah. Check, how would you rate your experience here? 0 to liquid IV.
0 to liquid IV. 3 liquid IVs.
Oh my goodness.
3 liquid IVs.
Thank you for tuning in for episode 34. Check will be on future episodes as well. Liam in the camera frame. We'll catch you later. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Do everything. Follow the Instagram. Follow the TikTok. Subscribe to YouTube. And
have a lot of fun.
Where they want to follow you?
Yeah. So I go by the name Bambafa on all my handles. Bambafa _ Instagram, YouTube. Yeah, I'm on there.
We'll link it in the bio.
Yes, sir. And for our guest, we have a gift for you.
I appreciate
the
that.
Bigfoot.
Oh, shit.
Yes, sir. Reduce your footprint.
Appreciate that.
Let's go.
Had a lot of fun here, man.
Pleasure doing a podcast.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Yes, sir.
We'll catch you later.
Pill poppers.
Peace.
Peace.